Hi guys, I'm going into the cutting tools in this video. I wanted to show you what I have in the way of cutting tools and why I have them and why I think you need them. You know, Dave Canterbury, he talks about the 5 C's. A cutting tool is one, okay, of the 5 C's. C for cutting. I have very redundant on this because I like pocket knives, I like knives. But 2 is 1 and 1 is none. That whole thing. You got to understand, you know, what happens if one of your knife breaks? Okay? What happens if this breaks or that breaks or this rusts or gets a big chip out of the blade because you went to hack something, missed and hit a rock? Okay? Which could happen, right? Now, I'll get into the kitchenware part first. Okay? I have one of these little hobo knives, you know. It's got the can opener and bottle opener, spoon, fork, and knife, okay? This thing's pretty sharp. I need to sharpen it a little bit more, I think, because it just came from the factory like that. I haven't used it. And so that's one cutting tool. Now, this cutting tool will stay with my cooking kit. I'll use that strictly for cutting food, okay? It's not going to be used to skin game or anything like that, because, I mean, really? So, yeah. Now, this right here can be considered a cutting tool because it cuts into cans. This is a can opener, bottle opener. Okay, you take a little file and you keep this sharp, and then you hook on it and you can open a can, just like a P38, only this one's got a handle. I have the P38s as well, or P28, whatever the hell they're called. Those little army can openers. Anyway, I found this one at Goodwill, and it was like 50 cents, so I got it. It's got a hole. I could actually put a handle on it and hang it, okay? This could be pretty handy. You can use this to pry things too if you can't get something open or can't, you know, this could be used for something like that. If you sharpen this thing up super, super big, you could use it to slit down the belly of an animal like a gut hook if you really wanted to. I'm not going to use that way, but you could. Okay. Next, in my fishing kit, I have a fillet knife. Okay. That's the only thing this knife will be used for, is filleting fish. I'll keep this, it is razor sharp. This thing will only be used for filleting fish. I have specific tools for specific tasks. Now, if my knife messed up here, I might have to start using that one. It's possible. And I am going to be getting one more knife. And it's going to be a bigger, more like a hunting knife. Probably with a fairly long blade, like a real short machete, almost. I don't want a big old long machete. You know, I'm not going through the jungles of Africa, okay? I'm going to, you know, might have to chop a few limbs, okay? I could do that with lots of other things. I don't need to have a machete as well. That's just one more big, long knife I have to keep sharp and deal with, okay? And it weighs, you know, they weigh. So, you've got a fillet knife, or at least I do. The next is my hunting knife, my skinning knife. Okay, this one right here is going to be used for skinning animals. Okay, pretty much exclusively, that's all this thing's going to be used for. Okay, this is a Maxim, but Old Timer makes them. They're like 20 bucks at Walmart. This is a nice little knife. I mean, it'd be good for self-defense too, because this point is real sharp. Okay, this blade is just super sharp. Easy to keep these maintained if you only use them for what you're intending to use them for. You know, if you're gonna try to chop wood with your fillet knife and then go to fillet a fish, what are you gonna do? You have to sharpen it, and it might not work very good. So you definitely want to have certain tools for certain jobs. This one's for skinning, because I can put my finger right here and control it with my glove, my cut-resistant glove. I always wear your gloves. If you're handling knives at all, wear gloves. You don't want to slice your hand open and take out one of your most important tools, okay, in your skinning, okay? So it stays in its own little leather sheath here, and that's the only thing I would use this for, at least as of right now, okay? Next I have my little Mora, okay? It's a carbon steel blade. I've got to oil it again. No, it's still on there. Okay, I should polish it up a little bit more though. It comes with a little plastic sheath. It's not Kyvex, but you know, it's a plastic sheath, and friction fits down in there real good. It's not gonna come out, okay? And it clips onto your belt, which I don't really like that clip, okay? I'll tell you right now, I'm probably gonna end up making a different sheath for it. I've been looking at some leather online. If I do that, I'll make another sheath for it. And I'll let you see it when it's done. It won't be pretty, but it'll be completely functional. Okay. So I've got, this is my general duty knife. This is something I would use to make feather sticks. This is something I would use to cut rope and whatever. Okay. This would be the one this would be the first one I go to, because this is the one that would get the most use. Okay. So that it leaves my other knives ready and waiting for whatever tasks that they need to be done, like skinning, filleting some fish, or skinning a raccoon or deer, if I get lucky enough to get something like that. Yeah, this and this came out of a hunting set. This is technically a bone axe and a bone saw. Okay, but this will work on wood. Okay, this will cut small limbs. You know, it's got a really good handle on it. I've used it a couple of times. It works great. Okay. It is a Maxim. What does that say? It's made in China. But that's okay, because when this thing gives it up, I'll get rid of it. Okay. This thing right here, it's all metal all the way down. It's solid. This is a solid little axe. Super sharp. Really sharp axe. I don't know how durable it would be in the long run. It is a stainless steel. This is not a Maxim. This was bought in another set. It came with a gut hook, a folding pocket knife with a gut hook. This came, it was two different sets, okay? And they each had a different type of setup with a sheath for them. But this right here, I have chopped wood with it. Have to be careful with the edge. Don't hit anything like a rock or anything, or you'll be sharpening it. Okay, but it would work for that. Or if I happen to get a deer and I need to split the pelvis on it, I've got something that'll do that. Okay. Now I have a regular axe. This is a camp axe. This is not a real expensive one. It's a Rocket. It says Rocket on it. Like I said, it's not an expensive one, and it's got some weight. True Temper Rocket. True Temper Rocket. It says, got some numbers. It says ABA on it, whatever that means. Anyway, I've sharpened this thing up. This thing's pretty sharp. As a matter of fact, I just barely bumped it and nicked my knuckle getting it out of the loops on the pack, because I took the little, I haven't made a sheath for it yet, so I had this just taped over the thing and it fell off. And yes, it looks really girly and stupid, I know, so just get over it. But I put that on there so that I wouldn't accidentally cut myself, and what I do, I nicked myself. Okay, again, wear gloves, okay? Because you just don't know. I mean, I was just pulling it out of my pack. I barely touched the blade and nicked myself. So you do that out in the field and it gets infected and you have to chop your finger off. What are you going to do? Okay. Yeah, just be careful. Wear gloves. Okay. Then I have my pocket knife. Now this is a better quality. Okay. This one right here, this one's an Uncle Henry Schrade. It's got my name engraved in the other side, laser engraved. I've had this knife for 20 years. Okay, I've had this knife forever. It's got some weight to it, but it's a good solid knife. It's never let me down. Oh, I need to sharpen that. It's not quite sharp enough. Okay, sharpen that. Got my kit right over there. I just made a video on it a few minutes ago. But I've got a belt sheath for it. Okay, carrier. But if, you know, my belts might be full of stuff because I've got so many other items. This may just be taken out of this and put in my pocket. So, then I've got my multi-tool. Okay, and this also has a knife in it. Now this one's a really good knife too. Oh, that's a little saw. Where is the knife on this thing? It's around here somewhere. Comes with a little saw. Now this actually can be used as a knife. It's a little serrated edge. Okay. And then there's the pocket knife part. I forgot it has to be closed in order for these to open. It's a safety feature. Then there is a small saw and a file. Okay. Then of course it's got the awl and it's got the screwdrivers and you know, it's got this thing here pulls out, flips around to make 2 different screwdrivers. It's got a, I think that's a bottle opener in it. Yeah, it's got a bottle opener in it. Now this thing here has got the blade on it. You can use it just like this to open a can. Okay. And then on this side, it's got, okay, maybe that's a bigger screwdriver. I don't know. Now that isn't all. And that is a small pair of scissors, which I've never used them. I doubt they're probably all that great, but they're there. Anyway, this little multi-tool has quite a bit of stuff. It's got, you know, to measure something somewhere. This is the Leatherman Wave, okay? And I made a little sheath for it. And in the sheath, of course, is a ferro rod, the sharpening stone. I've got P38s and strikers in here on this one side. I made little pockets on the inside with the leather and sewed it all together so that they don't fall down inside. And then it fits down in here and it keeps it protected. And I've had this thing for about the same amount of time if I've had that. So, and this can fit on my belt. And the last thing is something big enough to cut wood. Okay. I'm going to get me one of those Boreal or something like that. It's a folding bow saw. Okay. And it fits into a sleeve about yay wide and about yay long and about that thick, and it all folds up, and you can have extra blades in there. And I really want one of those because I've seen them in use, and I watch a guy by the name of Joe Robinette, okay, and he does a lot of canoe trips and camping, and he's got over 1 million subscribers, and he's pretty cool. And he's got one of those, and he uses it, and I've seen him use that thing, and I don't know how many videos. Now this right here has got the blade. What I did is I took a length of hose because I didn't have a way to cover the blade. Okay, this is too big to fit in my pack. I have another one that's slightly shorter, and I don't know which one I would use. I just put this over here just to show you needed some sort of saw. Everybody's saying get a silky gone boy or a silky pocket, or, you know, and I've got this, on and on and on. Well, a good saw almost makes an axe not needed. Okay. With a good folding saw and some extra blades, I might not even need to carry this heavy axe. Okay, because first of all, it'd weigh half of that, and it would be a 1 tool to make 2 tool option. And then of course I've got this axe, but this right here, you need something to be able to cut your wood. You know, everybody's cutting their wood up to perfect little sizes for their campfires and all that stuff. You don't have to do that. Okay, you don't have to cut them up into little fireplace size logs. Okay, you might have to cut it down and get some limbs off of it and drag it back to your camp and maybe cut it in half. Okay, you can feed it from the end. All right, and when it's all said and done, you can always shove that smoldering end into the ground to smother it out, or pour a little water on it if you're leaving, whatever the case may be. You don't necessarily have to cut your firewood into 16 or 18 inch long pieces and split them down into, you know, cut down some smaller limbs. Okay. Now, if you're wanting to start your fire fast, yeah, you might want to have a couple of them that you baton down. And the only reason being is because the fresh rough edges catch fire faster than the smooth round outside edges, because the inside on the dry wood is drier than the outside 9 times out of 10. Even if it's dry outside, it might have absorbed moisture overnight from dew and what have you. So, I mean, there are some times that you might need to split a little bit, which is why I wanted an axe, just for that. Now, I want everybody who's thinking about having an axe, I want you to be very careful about that. And the reason being is because it's very easy to miss with an axe and chop your foot in half, or hit your knee, or split your shin open, or whatever, okay? You need to know how to use an axe before you start using it, okay? Be very, very careful with that. Very careful. You can watch YouTube videos on axe, proper handling and care and use of an axe, okay? You don't want to just go out there and start swinging and chopping and like thinking you're Daniel Boone. No, that's not going to work because you're going to hurt yourself. Of course, never do it barefooted. If you're doing it barefooted, you probably need to die because you're not smart enough to wear shoes when you're running an axe. Then you probably aren't going to live very long out in the SHTF situation. Okay. the best bet is to get down on your knees when you're using your axe, okay? And do it out in front of you so that it can't swing down. Or if it deflects, okay, it's going to hit the ground. It's not going to continue swinging until it hits your leg or foot, okay? That's the safest way I know to use an axe. Don't try splitting them from the end either, because what if you hit your hand? This is a short axe. And now with a long-handled axe, you might not have to worry about that. But with the short-handled axe, I have to worry about, what if when I'm swinging, I'm a little too close to the edge, and I hit it, but I smashed my finger, okay? Which is probably why I'll have this one to do that kind of chore with, because it's a little longer, okay? And if I'm not going to be splitting trees as big around neither. Guys, if you're cutting down great big timber like that, what the heck are you doing? Go find some smaller stuff. You know, stuff that's this big and this big, you know? You're not having to lay up, unless you found a cave that you want to stock with wood, you're not laying up a supply for the winter. You're laying up a supply to last you a day or 2 days or however long that you think a storm might last. Because, you know, in an SHTF situation, you're probably not going to want to sit still in one place too long. First of all, you'll run out of firewood right around you, which is part of the reason why Native Americans and other tribes across the world would move. It's because they would run out of resources in their area. Downed limbs, trees, things like that. They'd clear all that stuff out, and then they'd move to another area where there's plenty of resources. And by the time they got back around to that area, there was more resources because other trees had died and limbs had fallen and blah, 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 blah. Okay? So you're going to have to be somewhat mobile. You're not going to hit in one spot and stay there for 6 months. Because you're going to clear out all of the natural wild edibles around you. You're going to clear out any game around you. You're going to clear out any downed wood or dead wood around you. So you're going to have to pick it up and move to a fresh spot. So, you know, unless you're going to build yourself a log cabin, you know, that's one thing. But you probably would rather use this to cut a tree down than this. I could chop for 10 hours on a tree and probably not chop through it. But this would saw through it in 10. Well, now, Daniel Boone might be able to do it in 2. But I'm not Daniel Boone, so. Anyway, that's part of my cutting tools. Part of the 5 C's. I'm going to be, I still have some work to do, like making a sheath for this one. And I'm thinking about making a different sheath, because this one right here, this had that knife in there, and I kind of shoved that down in there, but it doesn't fit real tight. It kind of flops around. So I'll probably end up ditching this and making them each their own individual sheaths. But in the meanwhile, that's what I have. So like I always say, use what you have. So once I get, see what I mean? It just kind of flops around. It's okay for now, but it's not something that I want down on my pack, because I need something to cover up those teeth anyway, because it's liable to catch things and rip things, and I don't want that. Because if I'm in an SHTF situation, yes, I have a repair kit, but no, I don't want to have to use it every time I want to pull something out of my pack. It snags on that and rips. Not happening. So anyway, that's my cutting tools. If I find any more, I'll add them to a miscellaneous stuff I forgot video. So anyway, you guys have a nice day. You thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, share. Look at my links down below for a $50 off coupon to an EMP shield unit in case of a grid down situation. And y'all come back and see me.